and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be looking at a video by Kyoto. This is the Kyoto BEEF Saga. It's a love-hate relationship. Not sure what it's about, but I have been watching a lot of this creator on YouTube Shorts. Like a lot of his stuff on YouTube Shorts, and I've been really enjoying it. So I decided, let's bring him to you, and maybe you can find, he's got more shorter form content than longer form from what I've found, but he's an author in his own right, and I've really been enjoying his shorts. So again, the name is Kyoto is the name of the creator. Obviously the video will be linked below, and you can go and check out his everything. He's so fun. So anyway, this one is about the beef saga, I'm guessing with Tokyo and Kyoto.
I'll be going to Kyoto more often, so I'm trying to learn their communication style. You might think, but you're Japanese, you speak the language. It's not a matter of language. Tokyo has been the capital for 150 years, but Kyoto had been the capital for a millennium. In their eyes, we're all bumpkins. City people communicate differently, and here's one case study. So you're in a restaurant in Kyoto, enjoying conversation with your friends. The staff's really nice. They serve you tea without being asked to. And you're talking, and at one point, a staffer comes to you and asks, "Ocha wa ikaga desu ka?" And you might reply, yes, thank you. There you go. You have been socially murdered. The message they're trying to convey is, I want you to notice that this is the third cup of free tea. Maybe you have overstayed.
Oh, yeah, see, that's great. I wish that we had more stuff like that at a restaurant. It's like whenever people have been sitting there not eating anything else, they've already paid their check and they're there for like 45 minutes after. It's like you finished your drinks or you didn't buy any drinks to begin with. You're sitting there with these like mostly empty cups of water. We have to turn the table. Can you go? Can you just go? Or buy something else? Something like people when like I'm okay with people staying a little bit after they've paid because, you know, you're not trying to kick anybody out too early. And it's that they still have a drink. They're still finishing stuff up. Absolutely. Sit there and enjoy. But come on, you spent $20 here and now you're sitting there with an empty glass of water. You can go, goodbye. The other thing that we do at the end of the shift is like if it's nighttime, if it's, you know, we're closing and we've told people we're closing in 10 minutes or, you know, that kind of thing. We start like turning off the music, turning up the lights, and it's like time to go. Pay attention to your surroundings. And as far as people like staying way past whenever they've paid their check, if I don't have anybody else coming in and needing the table, or if like we have extra tables around, then it's not such a big deal. But if we're really busy and someone's waiting, I will go up and tell you, hey, I need the table. But look around. Just look, how busy is it? Does every other table full? If every other table is full and it's like 8:30, maybe it's time for you to go. That's my opinion.
Accept the offer and they'll be like, oh, they're gonna stay. Somebody's clearly not from around here. So the correct reply is this. 大丈夫です。そろそろ行かないので。ごちそうさまです。ありがとうございます。じゃあ。So when they suddenly ask you a question, watch out.
Okay, good to know.
Together, okay? The word genki, it means energetic, full of life. It's something you will hear your friends say when they see you after a long time. Like this. お、久しぶり。元気? And then you reply, はい、元気にやってます. You know, it's a harmless nicety you observe every day. But watch out when Kyoto people say it in front of your kids or dogs. So you're at a park, you're watching your kids or dogs sleeping and napping, and this, to you, is the cutest thing ever. And then this middle-aged man comes to sit beside you on the lawn, and he's like, yeah, 元気だね. And then you're like, yeah. To me, they have the voice of an angel. There we go, socially murdered. What this man from Kyoto is trying to say is, well, look what you brought us here today. Noisy creatures times two. Do something about them.
Be nice about the kids.
Okay, so let's just keep in mind our kids and our dogs are angels, only in certain geographical areas, namely everywhere outside Kyoto.
Okay.
When you receive some kind of service, sometimes the staff there is very demotivated and they take a lot of time to process things, and it frustrates you. Now let's learn.
Also, I will say, it's like, let the kids be kids in a public space, sir. Come on, come. If they're actively destroying stuff, then in that case, maybe. Or if they're using a lot of foul language and But like, let kids be kids. Unless they're screaming, crying in a restaurant, in which case, again, take them out of the restaurant for a little bit, you know? It's disturbing everybody around you. But that's, again, just an opinion.
Learn how to elegantly deal with these kind of situations from our senpai, Kyoto people. Before Tokyo...
That feels like a dig. Did that feel like a dig? I feel like it felt a little bit like a dig.
Been the capital city for over 1,000 years. That means Kyoto people lived in proximity with people in power, but sometimes they got frustrated and they felt the need to throw some shade at people. How do they do it without getting in trouble? So their go-to technique is, instead of attacking them directly, they make the other person's mind do the beating on themselves. So imagine you went to a local municipality that's notorious for being slow and rude. Why doesn't this work? Stupid computer. Hold on. So now you're gonna ask this question with a genuinely worried face, okay? Like this. このお仕事長いんですか? Then they're going to be like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still struggling with basic procedures. It's the more worried you sound, the more damage you deal.
This is also true. This is also, like, again, this is very interesting for me. I'm like coming into this from a customer service sort of perspective. So dealing with it the other way, not necessarily the as the customer to the worker, but as the worker to the customer. And sometimes people are just so angry about the littlest things. And again, killing them with kindness is sometimes that's the way to go. Or just kowtow, like over the top apologies is something that I've done before too. Like, I am so sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I gave you I gave you water with ice. I am so sorry. I will take care of that right away. I'm so sorry I did that. Like, just a little bit over the top if they're screaming at you. It's like, excuse me, I said no ice. I said no ice in this water. What? Can't you listen? I'm so sorry. Like, make them feel super mean because they have just been super mean. If you can cry, do that. I can't necessarily cry on command, but I can make my eyes very misty. And I can school my face in a way that makes it look like I'm trying not to cry, and then I can just book it and, like, again, just be super apologetic. And sometimes that does shake them out of their, like, oh. I read a story once that made me chuckle, and it was like this restaurant, they had run out of hash browns, so they gave the customer like roasted potatoes instead, and the woman like lost her mind about the potatoes not being hash browns, and the manager eventually screaming at the server, like so angry, and the manager like came over and was like, "Are you okay? You seem really upset about the shape of your potatoes. Is everything all right?" And the woman like stopped and like accepted a hug from the manager and like everything was fine. I was like, dang, I need to try and use something like that again. And so anyway, sometimes just like the big eyes, extra concerned, super nice can do a lot of emotional damage and make someone who is overreacting stop doing that. Remind them that they're in a public space.
Third book, Horror Tales of Japan, is out on Amazon right now. Please check it out and enjoy some chills down your spine. Kyoto has had an attitude throughout history. When the capital city moved from Kyoto to Tokyo like 150 years ago, all the prefectures we have now were made, like Osaka, Aichi, Kanagawa, Saitama. But before that, Japan was divided into smaller provinces and they were named very differently. For example, in central North Japan, in the order of closeness to Kyoto, there were provinces called Echizen, Echu, Echigo. And in western Japan, in the order of closeness to Kyoto, there were provinces called Bizen, Bichu, Bingo. Now this kanji, zen, means front, chu means middle, and go means back. So these provinces were named from the point of view of self-centered Kyoto. So
I love, like, every so often in some of these, he goes, I'm glad this is a compilation, but he's talking about Kyoto throwing shade. It's like, man, this man is also throwing shade, and I kind of am living for it. I love this tea.
Kyoto was like, you're etchy near, you're etchy little near, and you're etchy far. You're B near, B little near, and you're B far. That's what you are. But one day, Kyoto was not the capital anymore, and these province names didn't make any sense. They were replaced with prefectures and prefecture names. So what I like to say to Kyoto is, good thing you're still beautiful. Japanese kids are taught to keep their mouths shut until the other person is done talking. That's why if you keep talking non-stop for an hour, we will endure the whole hour without uttering anything meaningful. We'll just consider the hour a takigyo and persevere through it until you exhaust all your stories. Now, Kyoto people basically follow the same code of conduct, but there are
as I talk over him, you know, sorry.
All your stories. Now, Kyoto people basically follow the same code of conduct, but they're a special kind of Japanese people because they have a unique way of hinting that you have talked too much.
I have heard of this. I have heard of this one. I didn't realize it was Kyoto-centered, but ooh, I've heard of this one.
So you're going on and on about statistics for a sport the Kyoto person doesn't even know the rules of. And suddenly, the Kyoto person says, "Yeah, Steve-san, 時計してはりますな." And you're like, oh.
Yeah, okay. I've heard of that one. What if you don't have a watch, but they say it anyway?
Thank you. I got this at Disneyland when I went there with a crazy story. But what the Kyoto person is trying to convey is, yes, with your gorgeous Mickey Mouse watch, I'd like you to notice how much time you have expended babbling about things I do not even care.
I need to take that one. No one wears a watch anymore, barely, though. I have one somewhere. Right here, actually. I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing a bracelet. Point is, it's brilliant. I love it.
Enjoy Kyoto. There is a terrifying temple called Bishamondo in Kyoto. It has a special guest room called the Room of Toriyawazu. It's a room with screen doors covered entirely with nice paintings of nature and birds. Now, in Japanese paintings, you often see a bush warbler drawn with plum blossoms and sparrows drawn with bamboo. But on the sliding doors of this room, a pheasant is drawn with plum blossoms and bulbuls are drawn with bamboo. So if you were a cultured guest, you would feel something awkward about the paintings. You would think, the birds don't really match. Now, the Japanese for bird is tori, and don't match is awanai. Tori awanai is a homophone with tori awanai, which means, I'm not gonna entertain you. So being shown to this room to wait is a Kyoto way of telling you, you are not a worthy customer.
That's awesome, actually. Like, that way you don't actually have to be rude, but someone that you don't want to talk to will leave. Is that like the equivalent of a restaurant sitting somebody who they think is going to be obnoxious next to the bathroom?
AKA, get your hiney out of here. I am scared of opening my eyes in Kyoto. One of the most hilarious books I've read in my life is this. It was written by Professor Inoue Shoichi, who is the director of the International Research Center for Japanese Studies, which is located in Kyoto. And his book is entitled Kyoto Girai. I hate Kyoto. When it was first published, there were reviews from people, especially in Osaka, who basically went, the book starts with this confession about being bullied by central Kyoto people for being born in Kyoto Prefecture, but not in Kyoto City. An example he gave was when he was in grad school, he visited a centuries-old architecture in central Kyoto to do some research. A resident there heard his Kyoto dialect and asked where he was from. Young Shoichi answered that he was from Saga, west of central Kyoto. Then the resident was like, ah, Saga. How nostalgic. When I was little, a farmer from Saga came to our house to collect our duty poop every week. Yes. Household excrements.
It's giving someone from Evanston saying they're from Chicago. And someone from Chicago being like, oh, sure, Jan. That's what that gives.
Used to be given out to nearby farms as fertilizers until the mid-20th century. So it was as if this guy needed to make sure that this boy, a bumpkin in his eyes, understood that he may speak like Kyoto residents, and he was from a place that's geographically considered a part of Kyoto Prefecture. That's not real Kyoto. I love this book. Kyoto used to be the capital and cultural center of Japan for over a millennium, so they may have the right to be a snob. But Professor Inoue Shoichi, the author of my ultimate favorite book, Kyoto Girai, I Hate Kyoto, is not gonna let any Kyoto snobbery slide.
Good.
In his book, he shares a shocking dialogue he had with a woman from central Kyoto. To give you some context, the mountain range where the famous Kiyomizu-dera temple is located is called Higashiyama, and it literally means East Mountain, because it's located in the east looking from central Kyoto.
Okay.
And here's the dialogue.
From Kyoto, okay. East from Kyoto. Okay, you know what? Everything is very Kyoto-centric, huh?
You know, I've been having blind dates lately, and my parents set me up with a guy from Yamashina. Yamashina. Can you believe that? Why? What's wrong with a guy from Yamashina? If I lived in Yamashina, Higashiyama would be in the west. What starts with a B and ends with an H? Some people in Kyoto seem to be above their own language. In Japanese, whenever we move towards the capital, we say noboru or go up. And whenever we move away from the capital, we say kudaru or go down. So the JR Shinkansen ride that runs from Kyoto to Tokyo is called the nobori, and the reverse direction is called the kudari. But
okay, you know what? I can kind of get behind that a little bit. In my head, north is always up. Like, I mean, that's not about the capital, but north is up from where I am, and south is down from where I am. Like, and I do imagine it like on an incline. So that does track for me. I don't get the it would be in the west thing. That I feel like slipped by me. But explain that to me.
But no, not to some Kyoto people. As you might know, Kyoto was the previous capital for over 1,000 years, and Tokyo has only been the capital for like 150 years. So whenever they have a business trip to Tokyo, they say, I'm going down to Tokyo this weekend. JR doesn't know what they're saying. The real capital is... So don't feel too bad if you're having trouble letting go of your past. A city has been struggling to do that for over 150 years.
Yeah,
and remember, you go up to Tokyo. After all that, I'd like to point out that I respect Kyoto with all my heart. I do, because it's like your relationship with your boss. Like, you respect him or her, but that doesn't mean he never gets on your nerves. But we all understand Kyoto gets to be very Kyoto, because it's a big reason why Japan is Japan still now.
Okay.
Especially the people in businesses in Kyoto that have been running for over multiple centuries, they keep a long lineage of traditions going. I mean, today's New Year's Eve, and Japanese people are supposed to do a major cleanup of their houses before New Year comes, but
I like that.
I pretended that I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Culture is fragile. So Kyoto keeps Japan going. So they have all the right to be proud of themselves. Meanwhile, we have all the right to be annoyed by them when they're snobs. It's emotions. We can't help it. So this love-hate relationship between Kyoto and everyone else in Japan shall keep going for another millennium.
Yeah, probably.
Enjoy Kyoto.
Fun. Very fun. I enjoyed him. Like I said, I really enjoy him. I think he's so funny. And I've learned a lot about various like samurai and stuff. So again, I really do recommend you all check out his YouTube channel. Just like his shorts are very fun. And I've learned a lot about samurai and ancient Edo period and all sorts of fun stuff. So he's enjoyable. I'm glad that this compilation exists. I feel like I did learn a lot about Kyoto. And I also talked a lot about how apparently things are everything. I can relate everything back to the restaurant. It's fine. I've been doing that for too long, so that's why I can do that. But anyway, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you check out Kyoto. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.